Okay. So this month we've been exploring how to manage the gap between the incubation of our God-inspired aspirations and the divinely directed dreams. This is a mouthful. And the actual tangible fruit of them, which means that we've planted our dream seeds and we await the manifestation knowing it is coming. That is what that means. And the last 2 Sundays, and today we're about building, which is actually the revealing of the bridge over the gap between the plants, the intention of what we want and the actual manifestation of it. So there's this like bridge we've been going through, the steps of how to truly find out what we really want and then allow it to manifest by taking the correct actions. So we've been sharing a few passages from a very powerful book called The Alchemist, a fable about following your dreams, written in the late 1980s by Brazilian author Paulo Coelho. And it's about a shepherd's boy. If you've been here, we're going to keep going with this story because it really fits and it is so powerful when you take it in. It's about a shepherd boy who had a dream, a really big dream, which he reluctantly decided to pursue. And in that pursuit, he definitely has to bridge a gap. So if you recall, I ended last week the sharing from that book with the boy saying to the alchemist, "So what should I do now?" And I promised to give the answer to that question today. But before doing that, I want to back up a little bit and share what I've read so far, omitting a little bit of it because it was longer. But if you weren't here the last 2 weeks, you'll get the gist of what the flow of this boy and this alchemist. This is a conversation between the boy and the alchemist for whom he had been looking for throughout the book. He believes that the alchemist, sometimes we think we have to go out and find the answer. Someone's got the answer for my life. Someone is going to tell me how to do it and what to do. Because I know that there's so much more evolved than I. Not true. Not true. You can receive inspiration. You can receive guidance. But the real gift of who you are is within you. It's in your soul. You came in with that gift. So just remember that. So we go into the book. So the alchemist will have the answers to how he can find his dream. The boy is trying to decide if he should continue going after his dream. And at that point, it's looking pretty impossible, as many things in life look impossible. But again, I take that to I'm possible, right? So every time I hear impossible, to me it's I'm possible. So it's gotten very difficult for the boy, as it does for a lot of us. He says, "My heart is afraid it will have to suffer." And he told this to the alchemist one night as they looked up at the moonless sky. "Tell your heart, no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of that search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity. Every second of the search is an encounter with the divine." The boy told this to his heart. That night, the boy slept deeply. And when he awoke, his heart began to tell him things that came from the soul of the world. It said that everyone on earth has a treasure that awaits him. We, people's hearts, seldom say much about those treasures because people no longer want to go in search of them. Unfortunately, very few follow the path laid out for them, the path to their personal legends. their dreams, their authentic self, however you want to interpret that word legends. So, I'm continuing the reading. So we, their hearts, speak more and more softly. We never stop speaking out, but we begin to hope. We hope that our words will be heard. We don't want people to suffer because they don't follow their hearts. From then on, the boy understood his heart. He asked it, please never stop speaking to me. Do you ever open up to your heart intelligence and allow your heart, because that's where these teachings eventually take you to, from just allowing the thoughts in our minds to direct and guide us, and follow that intuitive heart pull, because that will bring us into a greater experience of our lives here as humans. Because we're so much more than human beings, remember? We're just using these vessels to get through this one experience. Not to just get through it either, to enjoy it, to find happiness in it. That night he told all of this to the alchemist, and the alchemist understood that the boy's heart had returned to the soul of the world. So what should I do now? The boy asked. And that's where we stopped last week. What comes next supports our topic that I'm going to go into today. So the alchemist said, continue in the direction of the pyramid, which is your God-inspired aspirations, so your dreams, your vision, said the alchemist, and continue to pay heed to the omens being our intuition. Your heart is still capable of showing you where the treasure is. Is that the one thing I need to know? Said the boy. No, the alchemist answered. What you still need to know is this. Before a dream is realized, the soul of the world tests everything that has been learned along the way. It does this not because it's evil, but so that we can, in addition to realizing our dreams, master the lesson we've learned as we move toward that dream. That's the point at which most people give up. You ever do that? You have a vision. Oh yeah, you got it strong. You're doing it. And then you get to that point where you got to take that step. It's like that cliff. Either the ground rises up to meet us, so we spread the wings and fly, and sometimes we just make a U-turn. So we're saying, stay the course. Stay the course. And with this knowledge, the boy continued his journey, and he was tested, severely tested. But he met those tests and not only found his treasure, but so much more. He found who he is. So if you were with us in February, you know that my view on tests and life lessons is they really are for learning. Life lessons are just to show us the contrast of what we don't want. Like, I am so aware of what I don't want because my whole entire body informs me about it. So in knowing what I don't want, I then learn what I do want. And that's how we find out, truly, am I moving in the right direction? Ask your body. Don't ask other people. Ask your body. So in February, then I talked about that, and we call the experiences in so that we can grow, so that we can heal the belief in separation, and so that we can know that every step of the way, the infinite source of good is only conspiring for our highest good all of the time. But we have these human experiences so our soul can grow. That is why we have. So everyone is going to have experiences in life that don't feel good, right? Everyone's going to have them. But at that point, it's how you're viewing them, how you're deciding to respond to what is taking place. It changes the whole outcome completely. So knowing that this infinite source of all good is conspiring for us, and that it is as close to us as our breath, as our feet, as our hands, and moves us to a place we never thought we could ever be. This is the faith that is required with these teachings. I've often said this, and it bears repeating here. It's not achieving the goal that matters, although that's so much fun. I love manifesting what I really want. Everybody does. That's the fun part. But it's not really about that. It's really, what really, really matters is who we become in the process. Who we become in the process. It is who we discover ourselves to be. The strength and the skills and the connections and the knowings that occur because of the journey. Those are our encounters with the divine, the God of our being. Do you ever do that? Just make your intentions, your desires, your dreams, and you follow that guidance, and so much more is added to it. You can't plan that stuff. Like we say in these teachings, we hold the what. We know our intentions, what we want, and we let the universal good of God take care of the rest. And that, by the way, is what the universe means. The universal good of the divine. It's not, I had a conversation with someone, and they thought when I said release it to the universe, that it was like the stars and the planets of this one galaxy. It's everything. We're releasing it to the everything, the omnipresence, the omnipotence of the divine, this divine energy that will create exactly what we hold in our minds, aligned with what we hold in our hearts. Together, they must be together, the feelings and the thoughts. And so today we're going to explore our final tool, and about revealing about that bridge over the gap between incubation, the seed, and manifestation, so that we can reach the other side of the bridge. Meaning, so we can become who we were truly meant to be. Remember when you were a child and people would ask you, what are you going to be when you grow up? And you had all these dreams. And you could tell them because the passion was there. This is what I want to be. You know, and then it gets covered up. Then it gets buried, and then we forget, and then we go on search for who we want to be for the rest of our lives. So I'm here to tell you that we can live it, and we set that intention, and we follow those divine guidance actions that we will get, and it always takes action. The alchemist said this: before a dream is realized, the soul of the world tests everything that was learned along the way. It does this not because it is evil, which is erroneous thinking, we don't believe in evil, but so that we can, in addition to realizing our dreams, master the lessons we've learned as they've moved toward the dream. That's the point at which most people give up. But we're not giving up in here, right? Now, we're going to keep stepping into those uncomfortable situations that our instinct, which we usually can feel in our gut, when that pulls us into a greater way of being, of taking actions that are so uncomfortable, of stepping out of what feels like so familiar, then we know we're going in the right direction. And that's what we want to follow. No matter how uncomfortable it is, I'm here to tell you, and many of you know this, that what is on the other side is so great. It looks, because we don't know what it is. That's why it takes faith. But with that faith, we are stepping into the good of the divine. And that's where there are infinite potentials, infinite possibilities awaiting us. So we can be very discouraged at some points in our dream. And that's the place that we give up when we don't want to give up. So here's the tool that will help you stay on the bridge. It's the bridge from here to there, so that you can reach the other side. This tool is in the form of a question, and it is the final tool that we will explore this month. And it's this: how much do I want what I say I want? How much do I really want what I say I want? Do you want it enough to face all the tests that might come up? To use the word from the alchemist and keep going? Because to me they're not tests, but in the book he calls them tests. They're occurrences in life. Let me tell you about a few people, some people you might have heard of who really wanted it bad enough. 4 young men in Liverpool in the 60s wanted their dream enough to keep going even after they were told by a record company executive, "We don't like your sound. Besides, these guitar groups are going out." Who might that have been? Nobody knows? Okay, thank you. I'll be quiet and answer. A young red-headed comedian wanted to make people laugh so much that she kept on going even when the head instructor of her acting school said, "Try another profession, dear." Any other profession. What could that be?
Lucille Ball.
Lucille Ball. All of these people reached that point. A young woman who was the 20th of 22 children. Imagine that. Boy, her mother kept on going. All right. She was following her dream, yeah. Anyway, she was the 20th of 22 children. She was born prematurely, and her survival was doubtful. When she was 4 years old, she contracted double pneumonia and scarlet fever, which left her with a paralyzed left leg. And she was able to walk only because of a metal brace that was attached to her leg. However, at the age of 9, she removed the metal leg brace she had been dependent upon and began to walk without it. She began to walk without this brace. At 13, she decided to become a runner. And she wanted that so much that she entered a race, but came in last. For the next few years, every race she entered, she came in last. Everyone told her to quit, but she wanted it badly enough to keep on running. From then on, from that moment on, she won every race. She won that first race, and then she won every race that she was ever in. Eventually, the little girl who was told that she would never walk on her own went on to win not 1, not 2, but 3 gold Olympic medals. And let me tell you who she was. Wilma Rudolph. A real person in 1956 and 1960 Olympics. This is a girl that was told she could not walk. She became an Olympian. An inventor knew he was onto something, and he wanted to discover it so very much. And he knew that this would be a complete important advancement for humanity. He made over 2,000 attempts before he got it right. Yeah, I hear. That's right. That light bulb. This man wanted to change the world. So, at age 23, he ran for state legislature and lost the race. At 29, he sought to become Speaker of the state legislature and was defeated. At age 31, he sought to become an elector and was defeated. At age 34, he ran for Congress and lost. At age 37, he ran for Congress again, and this time he won. So he went on to Washington and did a really good job during his term. But when he ran for re-election at age 39, he lost. At age 45, didn't keep him down, did it? At age 45, he ran for Senate of the United States. Lost. At age 47, He sought the vice presidential nomination of his party's at his party's national convention. Lost. At age 48, he ran for U.S. Senate for the second time, and for the second time he lost. Finally, at the age of 50, he ran for President of the United States and became the 16th president who would change the course of the world history.
Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln. Didn't give up. You see how he didn't give up? How much do you want what you say you want? Okay? That's the question for us to really hold in our minds. If you really want it, it will keep you walking across that bridge. It won't leave you. That desire doesn't leave us. It's always within us. But are we following it? Despite whatever is put in front of you, and I love to say this because it's the truth, putting one foot in front of the other, just making the move, and not letting anything or anyone distract us. That's the important part. Here's a powerful example that I shared. I shared this a while ago, but it fits in so well with this talk that I want to do it again. There once was a farmer who owned an old mule. You might have heard it, but it's good. The mule fell into the farmer's well. The farmer heard the mule braying, or whatever mules do when they're stuck in a well. After carefully assessing the situation, the farmer sympathized with the mule, but decided that neither the mule nor the well was worth the trouble of saving it. Instead, he called his neighbors together. This is sad, but it's good. It's got a good ending. Called his neighbors together. People are getting upset. He called his neighbors together and told them what had happened and enlisted them to help him haul dirt to bury the old mule in the well and put him out of his misery. Initially, the old mule was hysterical, as I would be. But as the farmer and his neighbors continued shoveling and the dirt hit him, as soon as that happened, a thought struck the mule. It suddenly dawned on him that every time a load of dirt lands on my back, I will shake it off and step up. Shake it off and step up. And he did. Blow after blow. He shook it off and stepped up. Shook it off and stepped up. He repeated to encourage himself. He said it over and over again as the pain of that dirt hit him. Step up, no matter what, no matter how painful it might feel or distressful that the situation might be. The old mule fought to panic and just kept right on shaking it off and moving up. It wasn't long before the old mule, battered and exhausted, stepped triumphantly over the wall of the well. What seemed like it would bury him actually blessed him. Ever feel that in life? Like, I'm going under here. I'm going under here. But I'm going to keep on putting one foot in front of the other. And it turned out to be the greatest blessing you have ever experienced. I know that there are people here that have gone through that and can relate to that because it is the truth. This all happened because he took a different manner in which he could handle his adversity. Is how we respond. It will always be. How much do you want what you say you want? Just remember that. Enough to shake off whatever is thrown your way and keep on stepping up? Or walking forward in the bridge, over the bridge in our case. We've been talking about this basically for the month. I remember this very powerful line from The Alchemist. Every second of the search is a second's encounter with the divine. And so we have bridged the gap between incubation and manifestation of our God-filled aspirations and divinely inspired dreams, and the actual tangible fruit that comes from them. Meaning we have this seed. This is our dream. Our dream, think of your dream as a seed. And so with our dream seed, we plant it. We plant that dream seed into the law of the universe, fully knowing that we're watering it with faith. Because if we don't water it with faith, it will dry up and wither out. So we must water our dreams with faith and take the actions. And then that exact dream that's in that seed will become made manifest as exactly what you want, or something better. Or something better. So by taking that leap of faith and using a variety of all of our spiritual tools that we learn here to build a bridge, today's tool being the question, how much do I want what I say that I want? And willing to continue to shake it off and step up. Whatever is thrown my way, just keep stepping forward. Keep moving in the direction that you feel guided to move in. Because the alternative is to be stuck and to be drowned and to be miserable. So I am going to, no matter what is thrown at me, keep taking that step forward. I invite you to do this. Keep moving in the direction of what vision you hold for your life. To help us understand those questions, I have a quote by Ernest Holmes, Dr. Ernest Holmes, who had founded this spirituality. He wrote this in Living the Science of Mind. Placing our entire trust, our complete faith, our whole conviction in the simple truth that we are rooted in the living Spirit, that we have access to the mind of God and to the love and the power and the peace of the Spirit. We should walk in confidence and speak our spiritual conviction with complete assurance, knowing that there is a presence and a power with us and for us and operating through us, a presence and power that knows no defeat. That's what we have within us. That God essence knows no defeat. It cannot be defeated in any way. That is our potential, right there. All this human stuff is what we are carrying through this experience. But the real truth is we came in with this divine essence and we leave with this divine essence. And this divine essence can never be defeated. It is always with us, as us, uniquely individualized as us, which is so incredibly powerful to me. So knowing this, my friends, we can get to the other side of that bridge, to the vision, to the manifested vision part. And we start to do what we came here to do. What we came here to, because we all have within us some glorious, beautiful gift and gifts, because there can be many. So this is how we manifest our dreams, our longings, everything that we hold within us, the visions of living a life. All we want to do, am I right, is live a life of peace and happiness. Is that not true? To feel fulfilled. You know, all the outer stuff is great, because as I've said before, I love stuff. I like to manifest stuff. That feels good, but you know what? Take that stuff away and my God self is still alive and more powerful, and that's where the happiness lies. It lies within. So I hope you take that, and I hope you get to the other side of that bridge. I know you will. And manifest your visions. And so it is.